All right. What is up, everyone? It's your boy Lamar Jr. here. We're back for episode 2 in the pump locker. It is going to be a chest and shoulder day. We're going to do like 3 exercises for chest and 3 exercises for shoulders. So make sure you subscribe, follow along. It's going to be filled, jam-packed with info as usual. It's going to be a good one too. So let's get it started here. Yay! This is all the leg work we're getting for today, guys. All right, so we're gonna start off the chest today we're gonna do some, I like to start with some sort of like fly movement. And this is a new one that I added in like, I don't know, a few months ago. And basically I used to always do a lot of standing cable flies. And then I was like, hold on, why don't I just anchor myself, get a chair, and kind of go through it that way so I could really start feeling it in my chest. Because I was kind of having balancing issues when I was coming out squeezing, and I felt like I couldn't really go heavier. And so that's where I kind of had to get this setup going. And once I did that, oh man, the chest pumps went through the roof. I'm gonna change this angle up. I'm gonna drop it just a tad so I can try and come out and up more and squeeze it up here. Something I want to talk about really quick is speed, in particular, rep speed. So it's a spectrum, right? Like, obviously, you want to be able to be explosive and get that contraction out of the muscle, but you don't want too much explosion, too much power, because then you're going to generate a lot of momentum, speed, and that's going to carry the weight through these motions versus you like actually squeezing with the muscle. Also, what I see, and I think it's actually more problematic, it's more of an issue now, is people repping too slow. I see it all the time with any exercise, any body part, and they kind of have this false perception where if you go slower, you feel it more, but going too slow is taking away what you're really trying to get from it. It puts more pressure and stress on your joints and that type of stuff. So whenever like you want to set this chest fly up or whatever it is, you want to come concise and through and squeeze. But a lot of times I see when people are going too slow, and you're using so much work and force and energy just to stabilize going through the plane, whatever it is, that you're not getting like a good contraction on what you're trying to focus on. So rep speed, you want it somewhere in the middle, and I wouldn't shy away from maybe sometimes having more so just tension over anything when you think about that in relation to speed. Let's continue talking about speed on the rep. So when I'm talking about speed too slow, I was referring to the concentric portion of the rep. Obviously, when you get to the end of a set, you're using that slowness on the eccentric to keep that tension on the muscle. So that's why I also said at the end, think it's more so about tension. And then on the opposite end, right, we've got these slow negatives that we're doing, but we've also got partials. And partials are something that are fast, but if you do it in a lengthening position, so if I was to finish like that, I'm using that speed, again, to my advantage to keep that tension up in the muscle to get a response from it. So that's why I said in the beginning, when we're talking about speed, it's a spectrum and how you utilize it. But one of the things I was talking about was going too slow on the concentric, and even you can on the eccentric too, but going too slow kills that contraction and that pump, because that's what we're all about, baby. Pump locker, yay! All right, so next exercise, I think we're gonna do some flat bench barbell. I haven't done that in a while, so let's go.
Can't for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, and they pretend. Aim off the bench, I get it in, I get it in.
Again, I haven't done it in like 2-3 weeks, so we're just slowly working up on it. But the big thing on this is I just want to feel strong. And something about, I know that sounds silly, because we're all about the pump, but something about I'm very good at pressing. I've always have been. If you go back to my original YouTube videos, 15 years ago, I was 100% natty, bench pressing 400 pounds. What up, homie? And so I felt at times I've messed up my flat bench by trying to get like more width and like more tension and like, I don't know, kind of just messing with the spacing. But I just like it close, like right here. And if you're just playing football, playing a sport, again, we're trying to be athletic, not so fucking stiff. Like I'm just thinking about if I'm gonna be the strongest I could be, I want to like my grip, not totally in, but right here. And I'm just pressing through. And at the end, I'm really trying to lock out, squeeze my chest across, squeeze my elbow across my chest, and boom, right here. Coming back through, and then when I'm coming up, I'm getting that full contraction, and I'm really trying to get that intention of coming across my chest. Obviously, I'm locked in with the bar, so I can't, but intention means a lot. When you're finishing, you make sure you're getting that final squeeze right there. That's what I'm going for on this flat bench here. Strong, and at the end, tension, squeeze, out in front of me, like stable and good. All right, so here's a ramble, here's a rant. I've been thinking about this. Recently with training, there's been this whole like slow eccentric, mechanical tension, reps in reserve push on like, oh, I've been doing like the reps in reserve, you know, up to like the 6, 7, you know, the kind of the increments through like intensity. How many guys, and so my question is, yeah, like that makes sense, but there's two things to that, right? Number one, back in the day, we didn't need a fucking app to be like, oh, hey, you should like leave like 1 to 2 reps in the tank to not fucking fry your joints in your set. That's always been common sense. I guess science confirmed what we were already talking about. So there's that. And I get it. You don't want to go to absolute failure every single set. We know if you actually really did that, you'd be here for 25 minutes and workout will be over. But how many guys in the top 10 Olympia follow that program? Like, let's think about it. Does Samson follow that? I don't know. He does high volume. Does Derek follow reps? No. Does Hottie? No. Andrew Jack? No. Martin? No. Rafael Brendet? No. Akeem? No. So you guys see what I'm saying here? I'm literally going through the top 10 of people that follow the reps in reserve, that don't follow that. The only person who might follow reps in reserve is Nick Walker. He's sponsored by the app. Okay, 1 person, maybe 2 people. So think about that shit in your training. Don't overcomplicate it. Like literally just train for a pump, what feels good and what you can actually see yielding results and working, not what's fancy, not what some app tells you what you gotta do. Just train for the fucking feeling of it. All right, so we're gonna get into some shoulders here. That was only 2 chest exercises, so My chest feels really good right now, nice and pumped, so I just said, fuck it, let's just go for shoulders. So we're gonna get some side laterals here with some cables, and we're gonna do it behind the back. So I'm thinking about flies here, and some of like the rehab stuff we see people do. So when you do that Y, that Y motion is actually for like your traps. So when you're doing cable raises or dumbbells, and you're like trying to like, whether you're like maybe laying back on a bench or doing another cable, if you're going too much in this Y motion, you're gonna hit more so traps versus when you do something behind your back. I'm finishing here, which is gonna put more tension on the front delt and side delt, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm really trying to get that side lateral tension, not the Y. So that's why me personally, I like to do these behind the back. Not every time, but when I think about just getting a pump, or just, I really gotta either exaggerate, leaning over, and whoops, almost flicked my finger off. Leaning over and then getting into the side delt from there. Those are the two variations I like to do. But I feel like sometimes when I just stand here and I do too much of like this, my trap's on fire the next day, and that's not what I was trying to do. So I think shoulders is the one thing where I think my key to getting growth out of them was to not feel strong. So I'm gonna contradict myself. 2 minutes ago, I said, I like feeling strong on bench. But for shoulders, I just feel like when you really just try getting that strong, like everything fucking else takes the blow besides your shoulders. And they're not really that big of a muscle group. And they just do like this and this. So it's like, do I really need all this different crazy stimulation for it? Or heavy numbers? You might need a lot of stimulation, but heavy numbers for it? No. So as you see, I'm only using the 25. Might go up another 5 pounds. That's all I want when I'm trying to hit my delts right now. All right, just one time for the YouTubers. That's my gym crush right there. That tall guy right there, that's my gym crush. That's the homie Eric. And I mean homie, not actually homie, not homie. All right, one time for the YouTube here. I'm gonna do it in front so you guys can see how I do it in front and how I lean versus behind the back. All right, here we're on to the next shoulder exercise. We're gonna hit some front delts here. We're gonna hit it on an incline. The reason why I'm hitting it on an incline and anchoring myself down like this is because I wanna get full range of motion here and be able to keep tension on that as I get above 90. Because if I'm doing with traditional weights, as I get like slowly above here, you actually start to lose tension as you get more and more vertical. So with this, just put it on the cable. So as I get in those extra degrees, extra range of motion, I still want to train that with tension on the muscle. All right, fam, here's the grand finale. We're gonna mix it up a little bit. Gonna do some upright rows, which I don't particularly care for, honestly, but sometimes they just feel good to finish because I'm not really sure what they're working. It's one of those random exercises. And I'm gonna superset that with some reverse pec deck fly here. And I'm gonna use this wall here to kind of counter some rocky motions. So let's have a talk here. Talking about if you should mix up your exercise selection. It's a great debate, right? My answer, absolutely. But it's not about the standard reasons that you think about, that you hear most people say when we're talking about why we need a different exercise selection. It's because the body has so many planes of motion, ranges of motion, and directional forces that you want to train all those things to prevent not being mobile. Because if you go through the same stuff, like, yeah, you're going to get good at it, you're going to figure out what works and how to get a certain contraction here and there. But if you're not taking a well-balanced approach, then you're limiting your training, you're limiting your strength, the overall body's performance. So yes, you do want to mix it up, because if you don't have any differentiation in your training, that's really going to lead to injury further down the line. Because what happens is you have these weaknesses and you have these strengths. When you're having a diverse training program, everything carries down the line cohesively. When you stick to one thing and you only focus on what you do well, then this gap begins to spread. And once you get a gap like this, you're literally asking for something to go wrong. So that's why you do want to mix up your training. Some movements aren't about PRs. I say that on here. It's not about the totals or any kind of load. It's just about keeping that range active and functional, so that way you're not feeling all beat up from your training because you have all these crazy limitations. I think we see it all the time. Maybe like sometimes someone can machine press so fucking much, 5 plates, 6 plates, whatever it was on a chest press. They get 80-pound dumbbells in their hand and they get elbow pain. You see what I'm getting at with this? So train everything, keep evolving your program, and do try and have some sort of type of training differentiation going on. It doesn't have to be every week, all the time. Don't start over-guessing yourself, but definitely mix things up. Oh yeah, that's a wrap. that concludes chest and shoulders in the pump locker, episode 2. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We got more stuff coming. We already got a shoot plan for next week, which will be leg day, so you guys can see what your boy's working with, but whew, I'm out of breath, as you can tell right now. 2 for chest, doing some supersets at the end, and then 3 exercises for shoulders. Give this workout a try. We'll catch you guys next time. Go eat, go smoke some. Yeah. Catch you next time.